Hello everybody and welcome back to the football betting series here on YouTube UEFA edition. We've got off to a solid start in UEFA competitions with 8 wins, 1 loss and 1 push for a continental profit of £104.80, and that's helped contribute to our overall series record of 40 wins, 12 losses with 7 pushes and a series profit of £325.20. I've got action from the Champions League, Europa League and Conference League in today's video, but if you think I'm talking some sense in today's video, please drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel for more content. Without further ado, let's get into it. We kick things off over in the Champions League as 31st place Sturm Graz play host to 12th place Sporting Lisbon, and Sturm lost their last game to Club Brugge by 1-0, a game which in all honesty was run by the Belgian side. Sturm Graz gave up 62% of the ball and lost out on every major win predictor. Club Brugge were unable to score more than the 1 goal that their performance merited. In terms of the form, it's back-to-back losses to open up their Champions League campaign, and Sturm Graz will use the international break to hopefully reset and adjust their tactics. They play a Sporting Lisbon side who secured a point on the road in their last game against PSV, thanks to a late equaliser. Despite creating 4 big chances and generating an XG of 1.34, Ruben Amorim may consider his side lucky to just concede the single goal, with PSV's efforts totalling 2.56 in Eindhoven. In terms of form, Sporting are unbeaten in continental football this season, and they're unbeaten in 10 games since their loss to Porto in the Portuguese Super Cup back in August. When we look at the head-to-head records, these sides have faced off in recent years. In the Europa League, Sporting Lisbon won 2-1 on the road and 3-0 at Lisbon for a 5-1 aggregate margin. Across the 2 games, Sporting averaged 4 big chances, 13.5 shots, 6 efforts of which were on target, and an XG of 1.66, all of which were higher than Sturm Graz numbers individually in each game, but also on average as well. So my prediction for this game is that Sporting will fancy their chances in this one. Despite being away from home, the Portuguese side will smell blood in the water on account of Sturm Graz's poor form, so I'll be backing the away side for a full stake to open up the episode. Our second selection also takes place in the Champions League, in one of the ties of the round and the ties of the competition so far. 16th place Barcelona play host to 15th place Bayern Munich, and Barcelona, they didn't really get out of second gear in their last Champions League match, a 5-0 win against the young boys of Switzerland, with Lewandowski scoring twice for the Blaugrana. In terms of form, it's now 1 win and 1 loss in continental competition, but Barcelona have started well in Spain domestically. Despite this, they haven't been perfect. They lost their opening match in the Champions League to Monaco, and a recent 4-2 loss to Osasuna will be a cause for concern for sure. They play a Bayern Munich side who will be licking their wounds following their upset away defeat at the hands of Aston Villa, John Duran scoring the game's early goal to continue his breakout season in some style. In terms of form, that result ended a 7-game unbeaten streak for Bayern Munich, and they'll be hoping to make amends in this one against one of their favourite oppositions in continental football. That brings us to the head-to-head record, and Bayern Munich won the last fixture between these sides by 3-0 in Barcelona. The Germans ran the game and dominated in every major win predictor, and that result continued a run of 6 consecutive wins against Barcelona, with the Catalans' last victory coming in May of 2015. My prediction for this game is that Barcelona come into this game on the back of a couple of strange results in their recent records. That's coupled with the injuries to key players like Dani Olmo, Gavi, Christensen, Araujo, and most importantly ter Stegen. I think that means the home team are the underdogs here. Bayern Munich also love facing Barcelona, and they're going to want to continue that unbeaten record against a fellow European giant. Despite this, Barca have looked good at times this season, and Bayern Munich have dropped points against Leverkusen in the league, as well as against Aston Villa in this very competition. All of this is causing me to have a little bit of a doubt around the Germans, so instead of backing them outright, I'll instead lay Barcelona in this one for a half stake in bet number 2. Moving on to Thursday night's action with the Europa League. Bet number 3 sees 24th place Porto playing host to 12th place Hoffenheim, and Porto are coming off a rollercoaster of a game in their most recent match in this competition against Manchester United. The Red Devils jumped out to a 2-0 lead before the scores were levelled at half-time. Porto then took the lead in the 50th minute before Harry Maguire saved Ten Hag's bacon, scoring an equaliser in the 91st minute. The game finishing 3-3, and before kick-off, maybe Porto would have settled for a draw, but when we look at the stats, given their 5 big chances and their generation of 2.13 XG, they may feel that it's more of 2 points dropped than 1 point gained. In terms of form, that does mean that Porto are yet to win in European competition, as they lost their opening match away to Bodo Glimt. They're going to need to start picking up points if they are to secure a playoff spot. They play a Hoffenheim side who are coming off a fairly routine 2-0 win against Dynamo Kiev in their last game. Holzek's brace wrapped up 3 points for the German side at home. In terms of form, Hoffenheim are unbeaten in the Europa League, and that's really helped their supporters distract from a disastrous start to the domestic season. They sit 16th place in the Bundesliga through the opening 6 games. There's no head-to-head record to go off, so we're going to go straight to the predictions. And I think that both sides play some really fun and attacking football, both domestically and also in the Europa League this season. They have struggled to keep clean sheets, however, and I'm hoping for a lot of goal mouth action in this game, so I'll be looking at over 2.5 goals in this match. Porto have seen over 2.5 goals in 7 of their last 10 games, including 4 of their 5 at home, and in both Europa League matches, for an average of 5.5 goals per game in this competition. Hoffenheim, on the other hand, they've seen over 2.5 goals in 5 of their 6 domestic games, but both of their Europa League games have fallen shy of this mark on the scoreline, but the combined XG has been 2.71 on average. I'm hoping to see at least 3 goals in this match, so I'm going to back that selection for a full stake in bet number 3. I'm going to throw in a disclaimer here. The Europa League and Conference League odds are not out at the time of recording, so I'm going to project this to be at about 1.5, and I'll make that clear in the episode recap as well. Our fourth and final selection features the Europa Conference League, as 19th place Panathinaikos play host to 6th place Chelsea. And Panathinaikos, they were held to a draw in their most recent game against Borak. Bakasetas' opener was cancelled out early in the second half, and Borak held on for a respectable draw. Stat-wise, the Greeks may feel a little bit aggrieved to have not taken all 3 points in this one, as they did dominate the game number-wise. That said, they did give up 13 efforts to the Bosnian side, and that's something they cannot afford against Chelsea. In terms of form, it's 4 points from the opening 2 Yukon games for Panathinaikos, a promising start to the campaign. However, just 1 win in their last 6 games across all competitions shows that their form is wobbling ahead of the international break. They play a Chelsea side who opened their Yukon account with a win against Ghent, dominating in every single match winning predictor, and they even gave a few rotation players a run out to keep the side fresh. In terms of form, Chelsea are unbeaten in 7 games across all competitions going into the international break, and they're going to hope to continue winning ways in this one. There's no head-to-head record, so straight on to the prediction. I think we've got to go for a Chelsea win away from home. I am expecting a slightly rotated side, as this match does fall in between vital league games against Liverpool and Newcastle. Nevertheless, Chelsea are a much stronger side on paper, and they also have the depth to beat the Greeks with a rotated lineup. With that rotation in mind, I'm going to back Chelsea for a half stake in the final bet of today's episode. So there we have it, 4 picks in today's episode, starting off in the Champions League. Sturm hosting Sporting, and we're going to back the away side, odds of 1.48. A £40 stake to return £19.20. Also in the Champions League, Barca and Bayern, we're laying the home side, odds of 1.58. A half stake of £20 to return £11.63. And with the other 2 competitions, the odds aren't out yet on Betfair or reputable bookmaker, so I projected the odds at about 1.5. I will adjust the spreadsheet moving forwards when the odds are released, but for the time being, that's where the odd levels are. Porto play Hoffenheim, and I'm going to be backing over 2.5 goals, odds of around 1.5, a £40 stake to return 20. And wrapping up the episode, Panathinaikos versus Chelsea, we're backing the English side away from home at odds of around 1.5. A half stake of £20 to return £10. So across the midweek, we're going to be risking £120 to hopefully pick up as much as £60.83. Will we do so? Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's to tune into next episode. But if you have made it to this point in the video, please drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel for more content. And as always, have yourself a lovely day.